We are sitting here at Rupp late at night, fresh off this Alabama win. But first, we didn't get to talk to you all last time about the LSU loss. I hate to kind of reflect back on bad times, but we got to do what you got to do, especially if we want to recap these games and preview the other ones. We can't overlook that one. Tim, they went down to Auburn, won an impressive road win, turn around on Wednesday night and drop a heartbreaking knife to the chest awful loss down at LSU to a barely 500 team. And the only really good thing that came out of there was an impressive Antonio Reeves first half, as we've seen all year long, but then a exciting second half from Rob Dillingham. Reflecting back on the LSU game, what's something that stands out to you? I know Rob Dillingham's got to be a given there, but that and what else sticks out to you about that kind of loss before we get into this exciting win that happened just a few moments ago?
I mean, we've been saying it all year, it's defense. I mean, they had an outstanding defensive performance over in Auburn. And then we turn around. First half was actually really good defensively for LSU. But that second half, Cal even mentioned it during today's presser, just how horrible it was. Yeah. But, I mean, like you said, Rob had an amazing game. Reeves had an amazing game. How many... Was Rob scoreless that whole entire first half?
He had 2 points at halftime. If I remember correctly, it was something around 2 points at halftime.
Yeah. And then he ended up with like 21, 23 something.
20-something, enough to almost get the job done and give us a fighting chance after
23 points.
23 points.
I mean, he kept us in that game there for a little bit. And I still think if we had Trey Mitchell during that game, I think it would have been a whole different story. I think we would have easily won there. Because, foul trouble was an issue, and having that veteran presence of Trey Mitchell would have been huge, especially in that last play. Yeah. That was so heartbreaking. That's all I really had about the LSU game.
I think things would have been a little different with Trey Mitchell, especially that's the thing that sticks out to me, too, on that very last play. They hit the shot. Credit to them. It was an impressive shot. It was a little bit of a lucky shot, but, hey, they had one attempt. They hit it. I think if Trey Mitchell was out there, they would have had a little bit more pressure on there. If I remember correctly, I think when Adu had the block, I think kind of the play just kind of almost – they froze for a second. I don't think they expected that guy to catch the block and throw it up. I think that was Ugo's guy, if I remember correctly. I'm confident Trey Mitchell, with his veteran leadership experience, likely have been in some of those scenarios before. He probably would have made a difference there. Who knows if that shot rims in and out, if it's more contested. It was a good shot, or a lucky shot. It went in, props to them. But it definitely, I would have rather had Trey Mitchell going into that game for sure.
Yeah, and not to like blame it on anybody at all, but that was actually Rob's man. If you, I rewatched the tape, and Rob was out there on the perimeter as well as his guy. His guy crashed, and Rob was just watching that ball. And whenever Adu gets that block, you can see Rob kind of wanting to run out a little bit, so hopefully they could get the ball, just throw it out to him, ball game. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. This man crashed. He got a magical lob by Jordan Wright. And was it Jordan Wright? Is that his name?
The guy who hit it was Tyrell Ward.
But Jordan Wright threw that pass, was it?
I believe so.
Jordan Wright's been our kryptonite these past 2 years, because, he hit the...
Oh, Jordan Burks.
No. Jordan Wright for LSU, right? Is it
I don't know their names.
I want to say it's Jordan Wright, because he was on Vanderbilt last year for our last home game whenever they hit that buzzer beater.
Yeah.
So he's kind of been our kryptonite these past 2 seasons.
Guy that's really familiar with Kentucky, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
But Tim, outside of that exciting, impressive, draft stamping Rob Dillingham performance, and what I mean by that is, he's been projected top 5 for most of the season, but after that performance, if he's not locked into that top 5, at least top 8, I don't know what else he could do. That was as good as college basketball gets. That was like Malik Monk against UNC vibes. Not as great, but in terms of he could not miss in that second half. Kentucky gave a 15-point lead, and it would have been a lot worse if Rob Dillingham didn't come out and be what's the word for it? Aggressive, confident, and just lights out in the second half. But, my mind's all wrapped around this Alabama win. Right behind us, you see the great Rupp Arena. Tonight it was in pure fashion. It was in pure form. It was, as they've been all year long, the home crowd showed up. And just talking to someone before the game, it's like, they were like, I'm glad Kentucky fans showed up for this one. As we knew they would, but after a gut-punching loss down at LSU, a not very good win rate at home this year. A lot of letdowns, even when the crowd's been here. Just a little bit of me did wonder how the fan base would be here tonight. You know, I knew they would show up, but like sold out, like barely sitting room. It was pretty close to that tonight. And to get into, you know, number 13 Alabama, Nate Oates, a guy that like at one point in time kind of thought, you know, he would have been a name on the list to be here. Some people still think that he could one day. Who knows if that will actually happen with the off the court stuff that's happened at Alabama. But anyways, a big brand. Alabama basketball has been on the rise over the last 6 or 7 years. Nate Oates, a high offensive scoring team that came in here. You knew this was going to be a shootout. I think both teams are, for most of the year, Kentucky was number one, but over the last few games with the drop-off, Alabama took that number one place for most points per game. So you knew this is going to be a shootout. What was the final score? 117 to 95, is that right?
117 to 95, yeah.
Yeah. Almost broke the Rupp Arena record of 118. That was set by this same team, Tim, back against Marshall. Yeah, back in the non-conference November where you just beat up on people. And they did it against Alabama, in-conference opponent. It's almost March. Like, this ain't you're just beat up on a nobody school and flex on them a little bit. Like, that's a solid team. Now, I know they don't play very good defense very well. You expect it to be a high-scoring game, but still, 117 against Alabama? What about that, Tim?
I mean, I was going to say we don't play defense much either, but we've been turning it around here recently.
Getting a little bit better.
It was a real good defensive team. Other than, like, towards the end, of course, like, we're up 20 points. Kentucky's going to, you know, lean away some, let them score some easy baskets as long as they're not getting back into it. But, I mean, it was a hell of a game by Kentucky. Justin Edwards, 10 for 10.
4 for 4 at the three.
Yeah.
28 points, career best.
Yeah, I really wish he got 30. I really wish he did.
Tim, I was thinking of my post-game thoughts. It's like, yeah, it's cool. He put up 28 points. He finally kind of broke out. I know we're how many games into this, but he finally had his moment that we've been waiting on all year long. But the thing that stands out to me is the way it happened. It ain't like he just went out here and shot 80%. Tim, he went 10 for 10. He had it happened right there. He had to fall down, get fouled, and one three-pointer where he's laying on his back and Reed Shepherd comes run over, and you know the cold chills moment from the arena, just the place going nuts. Just one of those games where like a player it's his night, like making shots that are ridiculous. It's like, how is that going in? Players will get in that groove sometime where they just can't miss, and this was the case for Justin Edwards tonight.
He's been due for a game like this, and I mean fans were anticipating a game like this eventually from him. I will say there were several fans who were, saying that he shouldn't start. Adu should get more minutes over him. And I mean, at some point I was thinking the same thing. I
gotta admit, I was one of those people too.
He had a few down games for sure. Well, several down games, but just a few games where he just, it was like he could barely play at all.
Yeah.
But to have a game like this, and he's kind of been up on the rising these past few games. The Vanderbilt game, that kind of seemed like there was some weight lifted off his shoulders, and ever since then, he seems to kind of have been a different player. And this just kind of solidified that he is that top five or the top 5-star recruit that he is. Yeah. And I'm glad that he's finally kind of earning that reputation.
I'm glad we're not in the situation of it being the summertime, the off season. We're waiting for Justin Edwards to come back, and it's like, is he ever gonna? Does he actually have that in him? What he was projected to have the day that he committed to Kentucky. I'm glad he's over. We're over 27 games into this thing now. Probably about 5 games ago is where he kind of got things going down at Vanderbilt. That was kind of one of the first ones I could think of off the top of my head. He's finally getting things going. A couple games there, he started off as scoring our first 5 points of the game, just a quick start, and then it kind of fizzled off after that. But tonight it was from start to finish. And dude, how cool was it when he walked off the court? Cal kind of, for once, took most of his starters out with 5 minutes to go. He never does that unless you're up a bunch. You're up by 20. I think we finished with a 22-point lead, so he finally did it. Normally it takes something like that to take those starters out with that early left in the game. And Justin Edwards walked off the court, and like this place went nuts. Absolutely nuts. Like a standing ovation.
Cal was even like doing this.
Yeah. You could feel it was like the players were all over him, kind of like just prideful and happy for him. And so was I. Even though I was projecting him to, I didn't think he should start for us. I thought he should get less minutes. I never wanted the kid just to come here and lose his opportunity. I just thought there should have been other guys in front of him. I'm so happy that although Cal had forced this and forced him to stay in that starting lineup, Justin Edwards finally got things going against a big name opponent. I love that it was here inside of Rupp on this home floor. You know, he got to do it in front of these fans that have embraced him all year long. It's pretty special to see. I was really happy for the kid. I was.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure. I mean, and if you want to go check out a presser over on Cat's coverage, he mentioned how early in the season, whenever he wasn't performing up to his standards, how he was kind of down on himself, and he said that he had his teammates, he believed in himself, and I mean Coach Cal, even what was it that he said during his presser? It's like, I believe in you, and then Justin was like, well, I believe in myself.
Yeah,
something like that.
He said he's lived in the gym. Him and Antonio Reeves have been in the gym the most of any player. So
so he's worked his ass off, and so I'm very glad that he has had a game like this. Yeah. I still can't believe it was against Alabama of all teams.
Yeah, it's not like we just mentioned. It's not a nobody opponent where you it would have still been cool if he did that, but like this is a quality opponent, a team that's going to be in the NCAA tournament
for sure.
So it's really rewarding. It's really encouraging that, Kentucky added their 6th player of this season to score 20 points or more in a game. You just added Justin Edwards to your rotation of people who can contribute to the team. Like you already knew how great this offense was and how many points it can put up a game. Then you added finally another guy. Now will he continue this? I don't know, but we're going off of fresh off this performance. Like, you have that option. It's at least possible. We've seen it happen already, and that's very encouraging as the season starts to kind of wrap up.
Yeah. There's something else I was going to say about Justin Edwards that I totally blanked out on.
Was it about his interview talking about the mental struggles he's went through and kind of how he's gotten out of that hole? Yeah,
and somebody asked him, is like, did you wake up today and know you're going to have a game like this? He's like, no. He just kind of went on with his daily routine and everything, and he just came out here and turned up, had one heck of a performance.
Probably some of its perspective of, like, imagine if you were him. We're 27 games into this. At some point you're just like, is this thing ever going to get going? Like, if you're Justin Edwards himself, it's like, you come out here and put in much repetition as everyone else. It's like, when is my chance going to come? And I could see after 20 something games, your confidence, your expectations is like, is it going to happen this year? Like why is it not happening for me? We've seen all these other guys get going. Why not me? I could see how that, he'd wake up and kind of not expect it. But sometimes that might be the best thing. We talk about this team going on the road when they're like, we got nothing to lose. Let's just go in here and win this game. Almost all the pressure in the world becomes no pressure. Maybe that was the case tonight.
Yeah. And I mean, how about Big Z as well? He had 18 points,
something like that.
And like the past few games, I mean, he's kind of unplayable in a way. I don't want to say unplayable, but he would make one mistake and Cal would pull him out. But Cal mentioned that during this presser, he's like, I want to play Z more.
Yeah, there's been games where he's not even got 18 seconds. So tonight, come out and get 18 points, pretty impressive to get him going at. There's some games where he doesn't play at all. In some games he had however many 15, 20 minutes that he had tonight. It's kind of cool to see that he can just, if tonight's my chance, let's make the most of the opportunity, just like we saw his debut.
Yeah.
He found out a few hours before that it was his chance to play, and he came out and made the most of it. So talk about, making the most of your opportunities when you get them. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to say as well, I mean, he's going to have a crazy NBA career. He's gonna be a starter in the NBA. But if for some reason he never is, the Harlem Globetrotters are right there to call him up. That pass that he did to Adu, I was not expecting that.
Behind the back, another behind the back.
Insane. I don't know if those are kind of things that are common over in I forget what
Croatia.
League he played in. I know he's from Croatia. I just don't know the league exactly. But
sure.
I mean. Especially, I mean, I feel like if that play was completely botched, Cal would have been so pissed off at him.
Oh yeah,
for sure. But like that now that it was pulled off and Cal like understands that he can do these kind of things, I feel like he's gonna kind of loosen that leash on him some. Let him be a little creative as long as the game's not completely out of our control.
Yeah, I think this year Cal's. You think you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Is that how it goes? But you would think at this far in the season I feel like Cal's learned the lesson, especially with the whole Rob Dillingham. He's let him have a bigger leash, and you've seen this. Rob Dillingham's been impressive, and you let him make a couple mistakes in the game, just as you let Z kind of do his behind-the-back passes, because most of the time it works out, and if it don't, you got other options. I think this has been a year of patience after a few rough years. I'm happy to see Cal kind of adjust, kind of find new ways of coaching that he's not, he's been a coach for 40 something years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to teach someone that's stubborn, a big ego. That's not even a mean way. Like, Cal has a big ego. You've got to. You're Italian. You're a coach of Kentucky basketball. Like, if you can't come in here being this passive guy. You have to have a big ego. So to teach someone that kind of runs the show, has all the spotlight on him, to kind of change his ways a little bit, it's very hard to do. As we've seen over the years, he's kind of stuck with what he thinks works. But this has been a year. It's had some disappointing things, but like, Cal's coached a different way than what we've seen over the last few years, and with Big Z and Rob Dillingham, and we've seen just that.
Yeah, and just one little other thing I wanted to mention. Shout out to Dylan Ballard with the Sea of Blue, who mentioned this. Before this game, Kentucky was 8 of 9, or 8 of their 9 losses.
7 to 8 losses.
Was it 7 to 8? They had led in the second half. Or going into the second half.
Yeah.
So they had that lead at halftime and then would lose the game in that second half.
That's brutal.
And I mean, we had a 16-point lead
tonight.
Yeah.
Kentucky,
at half.
I think Kentucky at halftime it was 16 points, I believe, but I think they, at one point in time, they led by, what did it say, 37? Did I read that correctly? It said at one point in time Kentucky led by, well, you lose your notes.
I mean, still, it could be 37 points, and I would not feel confident in this team in finishing that game off. I mean, especially Bama, a high-powered offensive team like this, they could go on a run at any minute, but they just were not getting anything to fall tonight. But I did not have faith in this
37.
team. I wouldn't say I had faith, but there's just that thought in the back of my head that, this team could come back. It could be a close game. Doesn't matter if it's a 30-point lead at half,
Yeah. Well, the thing about this team, it's like we've seen a lot of inconsistency, and that does kind of worry me going towards when you get to the NCAA tournament, where you got to be consistent because it's a one-game basis. We won at Auburn in a crazy environment, dominated. Then you go to at LSU to not a good team, but it is on the road, and you lose. And you bring a solid team into Rupp, where you've lost in Rupp a bunch of times this year, broke the record of most consecutive losses inside Rupp this season, and you do this. It's like, I would love some more consistency, but what can we do? We've just got to we already know what this team's going to be. We've had enough evidence to sample that, but I don't know, man. I would like some more consistency, but it was still really impressive to see this type of performance tonight.
As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 as we all get ready for the best month of the year, March Madness. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD150 and you will get $150 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not you win that first bet. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $5 of your hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD150. That's FIELD150. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game. You will receive up to $150 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD150 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available in one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient when I have to go cover games in Philly or New York, which happens quite a bit. When you cross state borders, you just log into your existing account and fire away. You don't have to create a new account in each state. It's easy, it's simple, and it's clean. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the conference tournaments and for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boost, and my personal favorite, a nice little parlay boost here and there. So download the BetMGM app and sign up today. Big news, guys. I am thrilled to announce that we have partnered with Autograph, a company founded by the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. The Autograph fandom app gives you access to the best college hoops content, fan contests, and exclusive rewards like discounted tickets, all for doing the things that diehard fans like you already do, following your favorite team in the news and listening to podcasts just like this one. When Tom, and yes, I am calling him Tom, we're on a first name basis these days, co-founded Autograph, he had one mission in mind: change the fan experience for the better. It works like this. You get all of your college hoops content you want in one place. You get articles from your favorite writers, pods from your favorite hosts, contests from your favorite creators, all on the feeds and the sites that you already enjoy. But instead of having to go to all these different places, it all comes to you in one spot, the Autograph Fandom app. But here's the best part. The more content that you consume, the higher you rank in the app. As you consider to level up in status on the app, you can unlock unique rewards curated exclusively for you. So download the free Autograph app in the App Store and use the referral code F68, that's F68, or tap in at the link in the description below or in the podcast app of your choosing to start earning points for doing something as normal as listening to this very podcast.
And the only thing that kind of gives me faith in this team as far as their consistency goes is that there are so many top 25 teams out there that are struggling with the same exact thing as consistency. So personally, I think UConn is one of the best looking teams out there for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could sit there and have an off night in the NCAA tournament and lose to a 16 seed just like we did. Or not, we know this is 16 seed, it was a 15 seed, but still. There's so many teams out there that are struggling consistently. So I mean, come March time, it's anybody's tournament, to be completely honest.
Yeah, despite our flaws, which just like every I know it seems like ours are the biggest because we cover the team, we follow their every move. I'm sure if we were covering St. John's or North Carolina, whoever, it's like they have their flaws that their media members are concerned about too, just as we do. But I'm confident in saying no one's ceiling is higher than ours. Maybe UConn, but like it's a 1A, 1B kind of deal. Like yeah. I'm very confident at our best. Our ceiling's highest more than any other program. That's a good thing to have going into the tournament. It's like if we could just put it all together, try to play a little bit of defense and get a little bit better at that. Our ceiling's up there. We know we've seen it multiple times. We can be that great if it all works out.
Yeah.
Just is it? You know, that's what
can
you do?
I will say, I mean, the past few games, our defense has looked pretty good. You know, it's definitely had its moments like the second half of LSU, but against Auburn, down in that hostile environment, and then here, it was just, it was incredible defense.
Yeah.
I mean, even Nate Oates, he was talking about how he had mentioned that Kentucky was really good defensively. I don't think he came into this game expecting that.
No, I highly doubt it.
Yeah. But no, I mean it was a hell of a game. Who do we have next now? Is it
Mississippi State?
Mississippi State. Ooh.
It's not a crazy road environment, but it's how I feel about Vanderbilt every year. I don't know why. It's just weird. Like you get this weird vibe. It's just different there. Not one you can't go in and win, but like you go down there and usually like my memory serves that it's stale basketball and just like different than what we're used to. It's always a weird game. So I think Kentucky can go there and win, but I do kind of maybe expect it to be like just a little weird game.
They don't allow cowbells in the basketball arena, do they?
I hate to tell you they do.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm going to be watching that game on mute. I don't care. I hate those cowbells so much.
They are annoying. I got to experience it with Jordan down at the football game at Mississippi State the year before last time. They're very annoying, but I am a little envious of it. I love college basketball and football traditions. I love how everything that the sport has. It is really cool. It's annoying when you're going against it, but like if you take the perspective of being neutral and just watching it, it's cool. It's their unique thing. You know, we have our ice cream. Well, they got their cowbells that affect the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, I do kind of think it's cool. I hate when it's against us, but watching it against other teams, I am kind of jealous of it.
I don't know what's worse, the cowbells or the South Carolina rooster. The rooster, whatever it is.
The cowbells are louder.
Yeah,
it's impressive. They're loud.
I just hate how South Carolina's like every chance they get, they sit there and play that.
Yeah,
it's pretty annoying. But yeah, Mississippi State. Of course, everybody's going to show out for that. It's going to be crowded, and then we got Arkansas home, and then following that up with Vanderbilt. Arkansas was a close game. If we played like we did tonight, shouldn't be close. You know, I remember that was the game that I actually read over the defensive stats and said that it should be a blowout according to the stats. Stats were wrong. It was a pretty close game. But I'm hoping we have that good home environment like we did tonight, and that should definitely help us out there.
I think we will. I mean, the fans, I'm not just saying, the fans have showed out for every single game this year. There's not been one that I'm like every single game. But Tim, you got Arkansas and Vandy at home. Those are both teams you've beat already this year.
Yep.
So I'm going to kind of contradict myself. I was going to say, you bring them on your home court, you should be able to take care of business. You beat them on their home court, but then the thought popped in my head of Florida. You won at Florida, they beat you here. I want to say we're past that now. I know that was just like 2 weeks ago, but I think we're past that now.
I will say, in Kentucky's defense, Florida here was whenever DJ was out, Reed played every single minute of that game.
That's true.
They exhausted him. They were just raining threes over him, running every single screen they could off him. And so having DJ, I love DJ's defense. He is so aggressive. He's up in their face. And yeah, there's times where he gets blown by and stuff, but at least it's not. At least we got DJ, and it's not just Reed out there all the time.
Yeah, well, our rotation's a little bit better. Our injury list is a little bit better. Trey Mitchell's almost back, is what people are saying. He'll likely be back for those games, so we should be at full strength for those games. Take care of business. You only got 5 games left on this regular season.
4.
Yeah. Just take care of business. Finish this thing out. I wanted to ride the high off of the Auburn win the rest of the way. I didn't expect them to do that down at LSU, but hey, you got back on track. I feel like fans and definitely the players and the staff that we just saw, they're all back on top of the mountain again. Don't fall off of it this time. Ride it the rest of the way out, and just take care of business. Stack up a couple more wins. Try to improve your resume. We're 19-8 right now. You said 4 more games left.
4 more.
Make it 23-8.
2 home, 2 away.
Can we do 20-3-8? Surely. Win at Mississippi State. Beat Arkansas and Vandy at home, and let's go into Tennessee and go guns a-blazing and see what happens.
Man, I hope we beat Tennessee at home.
Should be some revenge there. They came in here on your home court and waxed you. Take that personal. I sure hope they do. Go down there and still win at their place.
Mm-hmm.
We can win on the road. We've played better on the road. Why not? I'm kind of talking myself into it. Let's win these last 4 games. 23-8. It's not the best in the world, but it's not as bad as things we thought we're going to get. Go into the SEC tournament with a hot hand. Give whatever place they give you on that Thursday night and just win out. 3 or 4 games in the SEC tournament and go into the actual tournament with some confidence.
Yes. Yeah. Confidence and consistency. 2 C's. That's what we need the most.
Yeah. So, I think that's kind of most of the thoughts I've got in my vault for tonight. I'm still wondering where Michael Epps is. Have you heard from him?
No. Last I heard is he was down in Orlando. That's it.
Yeah, he's having a good time down in Orlando, and he said he was going to show up for this game tonight. He's probably back at the station, but me and Tim haven't. Michael, where you at, man? We ain't heard from you. Are you okay? Are you still down in Orlando having a blast? Where was our invite?
Yeah.
I ain't seen you since at Auburn when we had that impressive win. So, Michael, we need you back. We need you back on this podcast. And
plenty of space for you here.
Yeah, we can pull you up a 3rd seat right here at Rupp. And you should have been here and enjoyed this win with us, man. But I know you're doing other important things too, so it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did. He didn't miss out on the Big Z Georgia game.
Yeah, but he was back home in Michigan, I think, at that point. So he saw it on TV, kind of like I did. You were the only one of us 3 that were there for that.
So maybe it's good that he's not here. Maybe he's kind of a good luck charm. We have these offensive blowouts whenever he's not here. So, Michael, take your time, buddy.
Yeah, nobody tell Michael we said that, okay? Michael, we didn't mean that. But, Tim, are we closing this one out for the night?
Yeah, I've gotten all my thoughts out.
We're some of the last people here in Rupp. They're cleaning the seats right now. I think they're going to actually not take up the floor tonight because the women's basketball has their senior day here. I think tomorrow or pretty soon. But Rupp looks great as always. I'm always in awe just sitting here, especially when we're one of the last few people in here. It's kind of like we own the place for just a split second. I kind of want to go snag a basketball, walk on this court, and just crank a shot off.
It would be nice to do so.
Might get in trouble, but. I kind of want to. It's taking a lot for me not to. But
that's why they go and hide all the basketballs after the game because they know people like us would go out there and do that.
Yeah, they know what we got in our minds. But other than that, Justin Edwards, great job, man. Proud of you. Kentucky, proud of you. I think we're going to sign out for the night. Thank you all for watching. Please follow us, catscoverage.com, our YouTube channel, all social media. This basketball podcast is hosted on the Field of 68 network. Just got to keep up with us. We do this consistently after each game, sometimes every 2 games, but we're reaching new audience, picking up new viewers each time. So stick along, follow us, follow Cats Coverage and our personal pages, and stick along so you can catch us next time. So we don't have to. Hopefully, this lands on your feed. You can have it just there immediately by following us. So, other than that, 117-95, 22-point beat down inside of Rupp. Let's call it a